Good day to all of you. I'm S. Sivaram, former senior executive with 47 years of experience from Sasashai Paper and Boards Limited, Erode. I'm very glad to meet you all once again in this video. In our last videos, we have seen the presentations on 5 years TPM and ISO. This video is about global warming and GreenCo. GreenCo means Green Company. This is awareness training for employees in companies who want to get certified for GreenCo. Training is how to reduce greenhouse gases to combat global warming and become a green company. The training is divided into two parts. In this part 1, we will focus on what is global warming, what are greenhouse gases, impact of global warming, Kyoto Protocol, Paris Agreement, G20 Summit on climate change, what is GreenCo and their models, as an individual how to reduce greenhouse gases in our homes and factory. Now let's see what is global warming. Before industrialization, that is before 1880, the greenhouse gases, that is they call it GHG, present in our atmosphere were helping us by allowing the excess heat from the sun to escape back to the space after retaining the required temperature on the earth for all living things to survive. After rapid industrialization, that is after 1880, the earth surface heat and atmosphere temperature started getting continuously increased due to excess greenhouse gases emissions from various sources. The main GH gases are carbon dioxide, methane and nitrous oxide, etc., which caused global warming. These excess GHG emissions were contributed from factories and vehicles, increased human and animal population. These increased gases got accumulated and formed a thick blanket around the earth, and the earth's excess temperature was not allowed to escape to the space, and the heat got reflected back to the earth's surface, which resulted in increased global warming. Due to increasing global warming, there were changes in the weather, which in turn resulted in heavy rains, floods, cyclones, forest fires, and severe droughts, which caused a lot of miseries to human beings, animals, and vegetation. To combat global warming, all industries must become green companies by practicing green in all their business activities, starting from design, procurement, manufacturing, packaging, delivery to customers, and end of their product's life, so that they will not increase GHG emission and harm the environment, health of human beings, flora and fauna. In other words, from cradle to grave, they must ensure that all the manufacturing processes and activities in the organization will not affect the environment and the life of living things. Hence, it is everyone's duty to think and act green always, so that we can hand over to our children a clean, green, and safe world to live in. This picture tells us the intensity of the GH gases in the world's atmosphere before and after industrialization. In the first picture, that is towards the left, before industrialization, that is before 1880, the sun's rays after reaching the earth is again reflected back into space, and more heat escapes into space through the less dense GHG blanket. Whereas in the second picture, that is towards the right side, after industrialization, that is after 1880, only less heat escapes into the space, and most of the reflected sun's rays are not able to get past through the thick and dense GHG blanket and are diverted back to earth, thus further warming of the earth and atmosphere. This leads to global warming. As a proof, we can see in this graph both the global surface temperature and CO2 are getting increased after industrialization, that is after 1880. For every increase of carbon dioxide concentration by 10 ppm, that is parts per billion, there is an increase in mean global temperature by 0.01 degrees centigrade. At present, average surface temperature has increased from 13.9 degrees centigrade to 15 degrees centigrade, that is increased by 1.1 degrees centigrade. Percentage of CO2 as carbon dioxide emissions by countries. Higher polluter is China, that is 35.44% they are contributing. Next is USA is 19%, India is 8.9%, Russia is 6.3%, and Japan is 3.8%, and the rest of the world is 26.6%. GHG sources and their warming effects. Highest warming effect is by carbon dioxide, that is 60%. CO2 increase is due to burning of fossil fuels, cement production, transportation, and large scale deforestation. Second highest is methane, that is 20%, also due to fossil fuel, agriculture, landfills, increased livestock, coal mining, and wastewater treatment. Methane is more than 25 times as potent as CO2. Next comes CFCs, that is chlorofluorocarbons, that is 14%. These CFCs are used as refrigerants in fridges and air conditioners. These gases are 10,000 more potent than carbon dioxide. This CFC is also known as ozone depleting substances, which created a big hole in our Earth's ozone area. Now most of the countries have switched over to alternate refrigerants, hence ozone hole is getting smaller. Next, nitrous oxide has 6% warming effect. This gas comes from fertilizers, fossil fuel, biomass combustion, and from industrial process. Nitrous oxide is 300 times more potent than carbon dioxide. Interestingly, without GHG, the heat emitted by the Earth would simply pass outwards from the Earth's surface into space, and the average temperature of Earth's surface would be about minus 20 degrees centigrade, rather than the present average of 15 degrees centigrade. In other words, the greenhouse effect is a good thing when it is normal. It warms the planet to temperature that keep life on Earth well and livable. Without it, the world would be more like Mars, a frozen, uninhabitable place. Let's see what are the GHG sources. Maximum contribution is from increased transportation, that is 29%. Next is increased electricity generation, 28%. 22% is contributed by increasing industries, commercial and residential places contribute to 12%, and lastly through agriculture is 9%. Let's see what are the impacts on global warming. There will be a disturbance in climate, floods in coastal regions, extreme weather reason heavy rains and floods in many countries, glaciers melting, islands getting submerged due to increase in sea level, forest fire in most countries, vegetation getting affected, increase in desert area and severe drought, human health getting affected and spreading of diseases. Now, what are the action plans taken by United Nations organization and other countries to combat global warming? World leaders meet at periodic intervals and discuss climate change and set targets in the summit for all countries to follow. One such summit is Montreal Protocol. In this summit, 197 countries agreed in 1987 to phase out the production and consumption of chlorofluorocarbon and hydrofluorocarbons, which are being used as refrigerants in fridges and air conditioners. These chemicals deplete the ozone layer in the atmosphere, which results in exposure of ultraviolet rays from the sun, which cause harm to humans. Many countries have switched over to other eco-friendly refrigerants, and as a result, ozone big hole is getting smaller. Next came the Earth Summit during 1992. During the summit, 154 world countries agreed to combat dangerous human interference with the climate system and controlling GHG concentration in the atmosphere. Next, Kyoto Protocol, that is conducted in 1997. Most of the developed countries agreed for reducing GHG emissions, which contribute to global warming. Then came the Paris Agreement, that is during 2015. 196 countries agreed that GHG emissions will be reduced by 45% by 2030 from 2010 levels and reach net zero by 2050. Also agreed to keep global warming to not more than 1.5 degrees centigrade. Latest is G20 summit held in India. The G20 is made up of 19 countries and European Union. World leaders agreed to reduce GHG emission and achieve net zero by 2050. Leaders also vowed to triple renewable energy capacity globally by 2030. Now let's discuss about what is green company. Definition of green company. Green companies are those companies which adopt environmentally friendly policies and practices in their processes, products, and services to reduce GHG emission in all their activities to combat global warming. A green company thinks and acts green always. The following green activities are implemented in the certified green company. Example: conserving resources, reducing waste, using recycling materials, using alternate renewable energy sources, ensuring green supply chain, investing in green technologies, and processing eco-friendly products to make them more environmentally sustainable. CIS GreenCo models which companies should show improvements. CII, that is Confederation Indian Industry, has formulated 10 GreenCo models wherein we need to follow green practices and show improvement. The models are green efficiency, electrical efficiency, thermal efficiency, water conservation, renewable energy, greenhouse gas mitigation, waste management, material conservation, and recycling, green supply chain, product stewardship and life cycle assessment, and lastly, greenery and innovations. Let's see what are the requirements of each model. The GreenCo models provide framework for companies to drive excellence against energy efficiency. Both in electrical and thermal, companies should become the lowest specific energy consumer within the sector, promoting world-class energy efficiency. Against water conservation, companies must adopt green activities within and beyond the fence, that is company's boundary, for achieving water neutrality status or water positive status. Renewable energy. Companies must maximize the use of renewable energy, example solar, wind energy, etc., through on-site renewable energy generation or purchasing methods. Next is GHG mitigation. Companies must take steps to reduce their direct and indirect carbon emissions and progress towards carbon neutrality. Waste management. Companies must reduce their hazardous and non-hazardous waste, helping to achieve zero waste to landfill status, minimize their wastewater effluent generation, as well as reducing air emissions. This is a continuous slide. Material conservation and recycling. Companies must improve their material efficiency, including raw materials, consumables, packaging materials, and promote material reuse, recycling, recyclability towards circular economy. Against green supply chain, the companies must minimize the environmental footprint in supply chain through practice of sustainable sourcing, green procurement, green vendor management, and green logistics. Product stewardship and life cycle assessment. Companies must take up extended responsibilities such as influencing consumer behavior, design for environment, end of life management, life cycle management of products. Companies to conduct LCA life cycle assessment studies for their products, processes to reduce the environmental footprint and declare that no hazardous materials are present in their products. For greenery and innovation, companies must increase their greenery, provide healthy, safe, and productive work environment for employees, ensure that biodiversity is not endangered, must have implemented green innovation projects. Now let's see what we must do at home and after at factory to become a green company as per GreenCo models. For conserving electrical energy, we can switch off equipment when not required. Use sunlight, solar as much as possible for lighting and heating. Buy Energy Star rated equipment only. Do not waste water, steam, electricity, and compressed air. Use only energy efficient lamps like LED bulbs. Do timely preventive maintenance of equipment. Keep optimum temperature in your fridge, air conditioner, and geysers. Next is thermal energy. Avoid leakage of steam and condensate water. Do proper insulation, hot pipelines, hot storage tanks, etc. Do not drain condensate. Maximize condensate return. Operate equipment at optimum efficiency. Avoid usage of excess steam. Next comes water conservation at factories. Avoid water leakages in pumps and pipelines. Do not allow good water to contaminate with wastewater. Ensure rainwater harvesting facilities are provided in all the buildings in the factory. Introduce water conservation projects and recycle water wherever appropriate. Avoid indiscriminate and excess use of water. Do not use water hose for cleaning the floor. Instead, use cleaning mops. Ensure all the water taps are closed after usage. Now let's see water conservation at homes. What we can do: close all the taps when you leave your house. Do not keep the taps open for watering the garden. For washing your clothes and utensils, do not use running water. Collect water in a bucket for the above use. Do not use fresh water for watering the plants. Instead, use household wastewater. Do not keep the water tap continuously open while brushing your teeth and shaving. Use a mug. Ensure the float in your overhead tank is properly maintained to avoid water wastage and overflow. Mop the floor with wet cloth for cleaning instead of using water hose. Use bucket water for cleaning your car, bike, scooter. Do not use water hose for cleaning. Ensure you have rainwater facility in your building. Now, renewable energy at factory and home. Introduce solar heating and solar lighting. Maximize production use of black liquor for steam and power generation. Avoid spillage of black liquor. This black liquor comes in the pulping process, which we can use as a fuel in our chemical recovery boiler. Use bark and other bio waste to produce steam and hot water. Reduce use of fossil fuel like coal and furnace oil. Use bagasse pith to produce methane gas and anaerobic lagoon and use as fuel as lime kiln for lime kiln. Reduce furnace oil consumption. The bagasse is in the sugar industry as agricultural waste. LSC suggestions for employees to maximize use of renewable energy. Greenhouse gases mitigation. This is general. Grow more trees to absorb more carbon dioxide to reduce global warming. Use fuel efficient vehicle. Reduce GHG emission wherever possible. Maintain vehicle tire air pressure. Ensures fuel mileage. Change worn out tires. Use public transport as much as possible. For short distance, either walk or use bicycle. Also good for health. Follow carpooling. That is, share when you use a vehicle like bike, scooter, or car. Saves fuel and money. Ensure CFC, chlorofluorocarbon free refrigerants, which is a ozone depleting chemical in air conditioners and fridges. Use only eco-friendly refrigerants which are already available in the market. Greenhouse gases mitigation. Homes. Soak cereals before cooking. Feasible saving in fuel and time are possible. Pressure and copper bottom vessels cooking saves fuel and time. Use optimum quantity of water. Surplus water consumes additional fuel. Always reduce the flame once boiling starts. Hide the flame with a broad bottom vessel. Avoid narrow bottomed vessels as they allow the flame to creep up on the sides and waste gas. Always place a lid on an open cooking vessel or pan. Use maximum the small burner in the gas stove. Use LPG for cooking purposes. It is a clean burning fuel. Waste management at home and factory. Do not waste the waste. Convert waste into wealth. Do not waste water, steam, condensate, electricity, compressed air, raw material, and packing materials. Segregate waste as degradable and non-degradable. Ensure proper methods of disposing e-waste, biomedical waste, oil-soaked cotton waste, and spent oil. Do not dump waste in pits. Use wood dust, bagasse, pith, and bark as fuel in the boilers without wetting them. Make compost out of domestic waste and use it as manure in the garden. Recycle processed water effluent at source. Reduce consumption of used cotton waste. Material conservation and recycling at home and factory. Practice 3R principles, that is reduce, reuse, recycle. Segregate at source. List recyclable materials and maximize their usage. Arrest generation of waste at source. Give priority to recyclable materials while procuring. Procure materials only on specific need. Green supply chain at factory. While procuring encourage local sources. Identify green suppliers who are ISO or green certified and procure from them only. Guide and help suppliers to think, act, and become green. Help them to become ISO certified, that's Environment Management System, or GreenCo certified. Minimize reduce of procurement and save fossil fuel. Use higher carrying capacity vehicles to conserve fuel. Containers 25 tons instead of lorries 10 tons. Product stewardship and life cycle assessment at factory. Be a minimum impact mill. Avoid environmental impacts of paper throughout its life cycle. Minimize use of hazardous and toxic materials and chemicals in your paper making processes. Adopt methods and materials to maximum positive impacts in paper making process. These things were done for paper mill. Increase the recycled paper usage. Reduce non-biodegradable material usage in packing like plastics, etc. In paper industry, there is no toxic content in paper. Paper is biodegradable, 100% recyclable, and there is no disposable issue for paper and at the end of its life. The last GreenCo model, that is greenery and innovation. Improve green coverage in mill and residential quarters area. Maintain biodiversity by preserving native and adaptive tree species. Grow more trees. Increase green belt to 33% of total land area. Avoid use of high VOC, that is volatile organic compound content in paints and adhesives. Use alternate green materials. Use only eco-friendly housekeeping cleaning chemicals. Provide good lighting and ventilation at all places for employees. Ensure recreation and inspiration spaces for employees. Healthy workplace helps in generating innovative ideas and improves productivity. Promote green projects. Develop green professionals, that is energy managers and auditors, to monitor the green processes in the mill. We come to the concluding part of this video. I would like to quote George Bernard Shaw saying, "Progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything." Hence, we need to change our life cycle and behavior so that we ensure that we do not emit GHG in our daily life activities. We also need to survive and hand over a clean, green, and safe earth to our future generation too. My next video will be a continuation GreenCo presentation 2. Focus points are: what is sustainability, GreenCo posters for employees, benefits of GreenCo certificate, who will guide companies to get GreenCo certification, etc. Thank you all for your patient hearing. If you like to view my previous videos on 5S concepts, TPM and ISO, please search Learning with Sivaram in YouTube or in Google and click the icon plant in folded hands as shown in this slide, so that my videos can be viewed in sequence. If you like this video, please don't forget to press the like image and click the subscribe and bell icon for viewing my future videos too. Please share among your friends and others who will also be benefit. Once again, thank you all. Have a nice day.